The sun is out, the grass is green, spring is here. And it's time to start thinking about turning these cows back out on pasture, because any day now, our first calf is gonna hit the ground. That's what we're doing today on Farmertylerranch. Now, I had this all planned out. I was gonna show you guys how I'm going through the ranch here, checking fences, getting everything fixed up and ready for the cows to be turned out on grass. We're gonna run over to the winter pasture, check on those cows as well, start trying to figure out who's gonna be the first one to have a calf out here. I was gonna show you guys all the different signs to look for, and we will still do a lot of that, but something has just come to my attention and it is gonna dramatically change the direction of this video. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I think I need to do all my talking up here where the cows aren't gonna really be able to hear me. But basically you can see that the majority of the herd is gathered up here at the gate in the corner, because they kind of know that it's about time to go out on grass, and they see me out here messing around. So they're expecting this. But there is one cow, a heifer, that you can see laying in the middle of the corral, and she is not really interested in this gate or what's going on, and that's because she's going into labor. Because she's a first calf heifer, which is a cow that has never had a calf before, it's really important that I don't draw attention to myself. I don't want her focusing on me. I want her to focus on what she's doing. I need to get a little bit closer to her to really get a look at what's going on, but I don't want her to know that I'm watching her. Hopefully she has the calf on her own and I don't have to assist her, but that's always a chance with a first calf heifer. Now, how do I know if I need to intervene? Well, there's a few different ways that I figure that out. The first way being, if I notice that the heifer is laying out there working on the calf and really doing a good job, but after an hour I don't see any noticeable progress. The other way would be if I see hooves clearing, but she's just not laying down and working on it. And what I mean by that is she's getting up, she's laying down, she's turning around, sniffing the ground, she's doing everything except laying down and pushing. When you see those front hooves of the calf poking out, that's when it's go time and it's time for her to get down to business. If she's just busy messing around out in the field and not really working on it, then I'm gonna jump in and make sure that it gets done. All right, I think if I hold the camera close enough, I don't have to talk very loud, but right now, it's really difficult to see her, and I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to get you guys a good shot because I don't want her to see me and know that I'm here. But I can see that she's laying out on her side and she is pushing. She's working hard, and that's good. That's exactly what I want her to be doing. Let me go around in the barn, and I think I might be able to get a better angle. As I made my way around the barn, I could see that the heifer had in fact delivered the calf. From my vantage point though, it looked like there was afterbirth covering the calf's mouth and nose, so I hopped the fence and ran over there to try to make sure that the airway was clear because the mother was not getting up yet. Once I verified that the calf's mouth and nose were open and it could breathe, I just sort of sat back and watched mother and baby get to know each other. I would estimate this calf's birth weight to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 pounds. And in the world of calf birth weights, that is very low. This is no accident though. As some of you may remember, back when we turned bulls out with these girls, I put my heifers with what I referred to as a heifer bull.
The term heifer bull is a little bit misleading. What it is a bull that's only intended to be used on heifers. And the reason that he gets selected for this job is because he has a genetic predisposition to throw small calves like what we're seeing here. That's important for the heifers because it makes things a lot easier for them when they're giving birth for the first time. At about 10 minutes old, he starts making his first attempts to get up, and as usual, these first few attempts don't go so well, but he'll get it.
While she mothers up with the calf, I think I am going to turn these other cows out into the field. I'm going to make sure that she doesn't go out with them because I think I am going to lock her up separately. And the reason for that is that as soon as I open this gate and they all run out, she's probably going to want to go out there with them. And my fear is that she's going to go out there and forget about her calf. And I know you're thinking, how could a new mother forget about her calf like that? Well, first calf heifers are kind of notorious for things like that. So I don't want to take the chance of that happening, but I do want to get these other girls out because they're ready, you can tell. And hopefully she'll just stay right there and keep licking on that calf. Well, that was probably one of the most anticlimactic turnouts that I've ever seen. Usually they're good for a bunch of bucking and kicking their heels up. And as you can see, these cows were a lot more interested in eating grass than they were about celebrating their release. Now, I should point out that before I turned them out, I did feed them hay this morning. And the reason for that is that I wanted them to go out on the green grass with full stomachs. Grass is so much different than the hay that they've been eating if they just go one day completely changing their diet like that. I'm not sure that that would be good for them. So I turn them out on a full stomach. Yeah, they're going to eat a bunch of grass, but they're not going to eat as much as they normally would have. I need to get this heifer and her new calf put into the holding corral, but I don't really want to bother them right now because that calf just got up on its feet and it's figuring out, or trying to figure out, I should say, where her teats are and trying to get a drink. So I don't want to interrupt that process. I just want to let the calf kind of do its thing for a little while, and hopefully they can get it figured out. That calf has its nose right in the correct spot, so I think pretty soon it's going to figure it out. Mother is kicking out a little bit, not bad, and this is not uncommon for heifers, but what I have found is that usually the calves are a lot more persistent than the mothers are, and after a while, the mothers just give in. As you can see, the calf is just so close. I think the best thing that I can do is just leave them alone, let them figure it out. And while I'm sort of doing that and keeping an eye on them at the same time, I can go ahead and check this fence line where I turn the cows out. I probably should have done that first, but I didn't. So let's go do that while these two mother up, and maybe by the time we're done, I can get them into the little corral. here at the front field now. None of the cows have escaped yet. I don't think we have any fencing problems out here, but I still just want to do a perimeter lap and make sure of that before I leave them here for the night. When we get down to where the cows are at though, I would kind of like to walk through them and give them a little bit of a closer look, because apparently we're having calves right now. So I might need to, or want to, get a look at them and see if I can figure out who's going to be next. So far all the fences look good, but really all I've looked at is this divider fence, and to be honest, I mean, yeah, I want it to be good, but I don't worry about it nearly as much as the perimeter. Grandpa always used to say, as long as the cows stay on the property, that's the main thing. When I'm trying to determine if cattle are getting close to calving, there's a few things that I look at. The first being, when I look at them head on, do they look really wide or do they look kind of slim? So number 52 here, head on, I would say she looks kind of slim. This doesn't necessarily mean she's not bred. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's not about to pop, but it certainly doesn't indicate that she is either. The number 50, straight ahead, she looks a little bit wider. If I think there's a chance that we might be getting close, the next thing I would look at is her bag. Now, number 50 is a first calf heifer, so her bag is not going to be as prominent as a cow that's a little bit older. But generally speaking, with heifers, if you can see anything happening, that kind of means that they are making a bag. Now, she's kind of trying to get away from me, but the third thing that I'm going to look at is I'm going to get behind her and I want to look at her back end. If she's starting to look like she's loosening up, her vulva's a little bit swollen, then those are really good indicators that a calf is coming pretty soon. Would you hold still? Well, she is not wanting to hold still for me, but I can see that it does look like she's starting to get a little bit relaxed back there. And she is making a little bit of a bag, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get something out of her within the next week. Okay, the next one I want to show you guys is kind of running away from me. Hey, you stop. The solid black number 57 there. This is another first calf heifer. I'm not sure how good it's going to show on the GoPro, but she's actually making a pretty prominent bag there. I mean, it's pretty easy to see, and like I say, her being a heifer, that's a great sign. Look on her hind end here. She's looking a little bit loose. It wouldn't surprise me if she calves by next week. Now, you can definitely check for these things like I just pointed out, but keep in mind the fact that there's also those cows that just surprise you. They don't make a bag, they don't give you any sign, and yet they have a calf. And then there are those that show you all the signs and they go weeks without having a calf. So none of this is an exact science, but it's just sort of clues that can kind of get you close to the truth of what's about to happen. So I think those two are what I would say the most promising ones. A couple of the older cows look like they're bagging up a little bit too. So I don't think they're far off, but I'm gonna say that one of those heifers is gonna go before they do. So let's go and finish checking this fence out and get the cow and the calf moved. There's a slight chance, very slight, with a calf this young, that it might have enough strength to walk back here I can bring them both together. I'm kind of doubting that that's going to be the case though, because it is so new. That's a pretty long walk, and this corral is pretty rough. The calf is up right now, and I have seen it nurse. So it's pretty strong. It's doing good. But like I said, I'm not sure that it's going to be able to make this walk. But I don't know. Sometimes they surprise you. Number 54. He did good. He did real good. Are we going to go together? Baby, what are you? A bull or a heifer? Bull. Yeah. No, you don't want to leave him. We'll be back together soon. Come on, honey. Come on, honey. You know, you're being such a good mama. I got half a mind to leave you guys out here. You need to pass that afterbirth, though. You know what, guys? I got a change of heart here. She is just glued to that calf. That is exactly what you want to see. Usually you don't see that from a first calf heifer. Usually you see that from an older, more experienced cow, but man, she seems to really have this figured out. So what I'm getting to here is I'm gonna let them go out into the pasture. I want to kind of direct them so the calf gets out on that nice soft grass and gets out of this dirt lot here. But I think I am going to put them in this field, and I'll just keep a close eye on them. I mean, I'm going to be down here multiple times a day checking cows here for the next couple of months. And I know that I saw the calf nurse already, and it was a pretty vigorous nurser, I guess you could say. So I think it got a good drink. It got that colostrum in there, and he's already looking like he wants to go back in for more. So he knows what to do. She stands good for him. I think we're just gonna not intervene and just sort of let them do their thing.
Honestly, it would have been a lot easier for me to just pick this calf up and carry it out into the pasture and set it down next to Mother. But I was really trying to avoid doing that because I was worried about getting my scent all over the calf. These two are doing so good together that I just didn't want to do anything that might jeopardize that.
All right, well, hopefully I made the right decision here. I'll just have to keep a really close eye on these two. If I come back this morning and the calf is laying up here and mom's cleared down at the other end of the field, then I might reconsider this. But if she's, you know, keeps behaving herself and staying right with it, then there's really nothing that I need to do. If she was an older cow, I wouldn't worry about this. If we already had a bunch of calves, I wouldn't worry about this. But because she's a young cow and it's the first calf of the year, sometimes they can have trouble with these very basic things that you would think a mother would know how to do. The other thing that I'm going to need to keep an eye on is this cow still has afterbirth hanging out of her. Now, she only gave birth a couple hours ago. This is not super uncommon, but if that afterbirth stays there for the next beyond 24 hours, then I like to go in and pull it and get it out of there. 9 times out of 10, they'll clear it on their own. It just takes some time, but if we have to hand deliver that, then that's what we'll have to do. Well, there you have it. 2021 calving season is officially underway. Let's hope it's a good one. Thanks for hanging out at the ranch with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.